Ito ang programang Bawal ang Pikon. Get it straight with Daniel Razon. Kasama natin Atty. Lorna Kapunan. And kagaya ko na sinasabi ko, giving all the realities. Sa palagay ninyo, kung tumakbo kayo at tumuloy kayo, anong percentage ninyo na manalo?
Alam mo, hindi natin ma-predict yan, ano? I guess let us just say that I have faith in myself and I have faith in the Filipino people. And ultimately, we leave it to destiny.
Mm-hmm.
If it is truly my destiny to be able to serve for 6 years, after having served in the private sector for 38 years as a lawyer, then I will win. If it is not my destiny, then nobody can be faulted. I don't think I can be faulted for not trying. Kasi at the end of the day, it is not so much sins of commission, but sins of omission that will haunt you. Diba? Doon mo iniisip, bakit hindi ko ginawa yun? Yun ang bigger regret than bakit ko ginawa yun. It is the bakit ko hindi ginawa yun that will haunt you for the rest of your lives. And I think I'm at that point in my life where I can tell myself truthfully, if I don't do this, I will be omitting a big promise to myself, which my father started. My father was Justice of the Supreme Court. And he had all the opportunity, Justice Lino Batao, he had all the opportunity to be corrupted by the system. He lived, we live, until now, we live a very simple life. And he taught us the value of being very strong on right and wrong. And that is, I think, the legacy that my father and also my mother, who was retired before she passed away, they lived long lives. They died in their 90s. And their legacy to me and to my family, my siblings, which we're now passing on to our children, our grandchildren, is you have to have a very strong sense of right and wrong.
Alam niyo, one of the things that actually define the character of a person, sinasabi nga nila, is how he or she makes a decision or how he or she chooses. Diba? How she makes a choice. Yung mga choices ho ninyo ng mga kasong hinahawakan ninyo, ano ang basis ninyo of, the case of Napoles,
Yes.
which is very unpopular doon sa mga... You're aware of that,
Yes, of
I
course,
believe.
yes.
So, yung mga kaso nila, Heidi Ko, yung
nga
mga
po.
kaso ng... ano ang basis ninyo ng pagpili ninyo ng mga kasong hahawakan ninyo?
I think I'm a very strong judge of character. And that is why when a prospective client comes to me, I always say, do not lie. The worst thing you can do to a lawyer is to lie. And so all the clients that I have accepted, I accept on the basis of what I feel, what I sense is the truth. Pag nagsasabi ng totoo, that means you can judge kung malakas ang kaso o hindi. And
So nararamdaman din ninyo na kung pinagsisinungalingan kayo o may tinatago sa inyo, hindi sinasabi sa inyo lahat ng totoo?
oh yes, and when and if that happens, and it happened, I will be honest to admit it happened in the case of Napoles, when without breaching client confidentiality, when I had a sense, my internal barometer said na parang hindi na tama, hindi na totoo ang naririnig ko, without hesitation, we dropped her.
So that's the real reason bakit talaga binitawan niyo yung kaso ni Janet Napoles.
She was less than candid to me, to us.
Okay, all right. So, but with all other cases na kagaya ng mga kaso nila James Yap, nila Hayden Ko, nila Vong Navarro, ito ho, kumusta ang niyo doon? Assessment ninyo, talagang sinasabi nila yung totoo sa inyo?
Yes. In fact, although we were not lawyers for Vong Navarro, no, when we were asked our legal opinion, I think, and in all the cases we've handled, the fact that we won them, I won them regardless of mabigat ang kalaban or may pera ang kalaban or masama sa media. Regardless of all of those negativities, we have shown that if it is fair, if the fight is fair and your client has a meritorious case, you will win. So I have never hesitated to accept an unpopular case if I know that there is merit to the case. And I think our track record, me and my law office and my partners, our track record will bear testament to our judgment calls, which have been proven to be correct.
Ano ang nakikita ninyong pinakamalaking blunder ng Aquino administration na you think can be corrected sa pamamagitan ng pagbalangkas ng isang batas kung sakaling kayo ay maging senador?
I think not only the Aquino administration, but previous administrations, because although sabi nila we have the highest growth rate in Asia, 6.2, no? Hindi naman inclusive growth yun, ano? In many countries, not only dito sa APEC countries natin, but in many countries of the world where I have been, election day is not even a holiday. Election campaign period is not even as horrendous as it is here, no? Kasi ang nangyayari sa mga ibang bansa, meron silang short-term, medium-term, and long-term development plan. Na sino man ang elected dyan, sino man ang partido dyan, yung plan of government, fina-follow. Di ba? Hindi pwede yung kagaya ng yung plano natin ng infrastructure. Let's say Marcos started it. Hindi pwede na because Marcos started it, the next administration will not follow it. Di ba? We should have a national development plan, short-term, medium-term, and long-term, that will ensure that regardless of who is elected into office, we follow the economic plan. And I think that is yun ang naging mali sa mga administrations. Not only this, but in past administration, na every 6 years, pag pinapalitan ng presidente, pinapalitan ng economic plan, no? So, are we going industrialization or are we going land reform? Are we going infrastructure? Are we going privatization? Are we going PPP, no? Public participation? Are we going to lift our economic restrictions sa Constitution? Will we open our natural resources, development of our natural resources? Will we privatize media? Will we break monopolies? Walang planong ganyan.
Then how can that be corrected through a law?
That can be corrected through political will. Because meron tayong economic managers. We have DANEDA. Naririnig ba natin in all of these speeches, ang NEDA, yung tinatawag National Economic Development Authority, which is supposed to provide the blueprint. The blueprint for economic development, di ba? So, dapat meron tayong economic development that will outlive the term of each president.
Sorry,
Sino man ang presidenteng i-elect, hindi depende sa tinatawag na KKK, kaibigan, kaklase, and all that. No.
Having said that, hindi ba niyo nakikita na masyado na marami ang batas natin na ngayon ang nagiging pinakamalaking problema natin ay yung proper implementation of the law?
Tama. In fact, masyado tayong maraming legislators. I think we should take a second look at our system of legislation, no? Kasi meron tayong dalawang house. Meron tayong lower house, meron tayong upper house, yung Congress and the Senate. So you have laws passed by the lower house, Congress, then it has to be harmonized with the version of the Senate, then it has to go through a bicameral committee, then it has to go to the president. Maybe we should take a hard look at how to pass legislation. Kasi ang dami-daming batas that gets derailed because of the process itself. So we have to review that, no? Kailangan ba talaga natin ng Senado? I mean, I don't want to alienate the Senate, but do we really need a BICAM? May constituency ba talaga ang mga senador? Because congressmen are representatives of their own congressional districts. Di ba? So meron silang constituency. Kagaya sa US, sasabihin nila, I'll tell you to my congressman, no? Because the congressman takes care of a district. I don't think that's the same sa Senado, no? You cannot say that my constituency is the whole country, no?
Why would you then opt to run as a senator? Why don't you just like look for a position that maybe in the executive?
Because it is my field of competence. I am not an executive. I am more, kasi I'm a practicing lawyer, no? Mas naintindihan ko yung proseso ng legislation. Mas naiintindihan ko na yung batas, no?
Why Senate but hindi Congress? Kasi kung paniwala din ninyo, parang duda din kayo, dapat nga ba may Senado pa tayo? Parang dapat yata wala na tayong senador, Kongreso na lang tayo.
Maybe one of the first things I will do is pass a bill to abolish the Senate.
So you will go there and abolish yourself then?
Maybe so, if that is what the times indicate, no? But hindi tayo yung pumapasok sa hindi natin kaya. I'm not an executive. I've never run a town. I've never run my household is run by my mayordoma. I cannot balance my checkbook. I'm not a good executive.
So kayo ay laban din sa political dynasty?
Of course, yes. Because 102 million, 120 million, more than 100 million Filipinos can competence be concentrated in a few families? Hindi naman pwedeng ganun. If you level the playing field, if you remove corruption in the campaign process, if you remove the guns, and gold, tanggalin nyo yan, yung guns, and gold na yan. I think you will encourage good people to run.
Paniwala nyo ba ang separation natin of powers ay nangyayari talaga? In reality, meron ba talagang pagkakahiwalay ang ehekutibo doon sa lehislatibo?
Ay hindi nga, confused nga silang lahat eh. We have the Senate, for instance. We have Congress that should make laws but they're doing investigation. Yung in aid of legislation, parang hindi na in aid of legislation, parang investigation na yun. They are they are investigator, judge, and jury.
Eh sabi nila, oversight function nila yun eh.
That's oversight. This is where I will say, tell it to the Marines. Hindi naman oversight yun, ano? That is already in aid of election. Hindi in aid of legislation. Kung mga iba dyan, in aid of election. So, you have Senate and a Congress that should pay attention to making laws. You have an executive that should not interfere with the judicial process. Di ba? You have the judicial process that should not kowtow to the executive and the legislative. So, because nga nako-confuse na sila, no?
So kung naniniwala ba kayo na kapag ka ang isang batas ayaw ng palasyo, hindi magpupush?
Yes, because unless kasi there is a certain period, no, na if the president does not sign it into law, it automatically becomes a law.
Iba rin naman ho kasi yung binivito, iba naman yun. But what I'm saying is, like, halimbawa, pagka gusto ng Malacanang, mas napapatakbo niya yun nasa legislative. Kasi parang ganyan din yung sinasabi nila, eh, diba? Na pagka naman ayaw ng Malacanang, pwedeng sasabihin din niya sa legislative, hindi, huwag niyo i-push yan. Or, kasi lalo na, majority ng nasa administrasyon. So, nandun sila nag-gravitate.
It never happens kasi na yung House, ang Kongreso or ang Senado hindi it does not belong to the political party of the winning president. Kasi wala namang dito, wala namang ideological difference or philosophical difference yung mga partido, no? It really is a party of personalities and a party of dynasties, no? So kung kunyari, kontrapartido yung nanalong presidente, yung mga nasa Kongreso, nagiging partido ng presidente because of the power of the purse. Di ba? It is the executive that determines what each congressman or senator will get, depending on, and this is human nature, depending on kapartido ba or opposition.
No, hindi nababago ko yan. Cycle na lang yan. Ganun na
Cycle
ganun
na lang
nangyayari.
yan. So, wala naman tayong legislatura na hindi kapartido ng presidente because the congressmen or senators, they align with whoever is the winning president.
And I suppose hindi naman kayo ganun na makiki-align kayo kung sino lang yung nakaluklok, hindi ba?
Hindi po. Magpapa-align tayo sa kanila. They should align with me.
But the problem there is hindi kayo makakapush
Hindi
ng mga batas. Magiging walang silbi yung pagiging legislator ninyo kung hindi rin kayo makakapasok ng batas.
That is why legislation nga is not a function of serving vested interest. It's not a function of serving the majority or family ties or political interest. I think, for instance, Senator Miriam is testament to the fact na she was not siding with any side. She was opposition when it needed to be, and she was administration when it needed to be. But if we look at her legislative history, because tama yung mga final niya na legislation, napapasa naman, ano? So, to me, it is just a matter of political will. Ngayon, yung sinasabi mo na yung effect ng yung pressure from the executive, it happens because it is the executive. It is the president who can determine the legislative agenda. That is really the function of a State of the Nation address, which principally is a review of past performance, and it is setting the tone for future. So, if the executive which manages, kasi tignan natin yung ating bansa. Let's look at it as a giant corporation. No? There must be a CEO. There must be a chief executive officer. Who is the president? No? If you are a chief executive officer, then you tell your management, your officers under you, which is his cabinet, and you tell the people who support, that is your legislature, that this is the plan of government, and therefore your bills must align. So, yung State of the Nation address should set that tone. Pag sinabi ng presidente, balik na natin ang mga OFWs na yan. What does that mean? That means that you must create a business-friendly environment so that businessmen here will open factories. No person, wala namang gustong mag-abroad at iwanan ng pamilya dito. They go abroad because there are no work opportunities here. So pag ang direksyon ng gobyerno is hindi yung dapat to me, no? And that is one of the failings of government. We should not encourage OFWs, no? We should encourage, in fact, them to come home. Encourage. That is going to be one of my platforms. Is to create more job opportunities, to bring our OFWs home, to create more job opportunities because yung nagga-graduate, yung kagagraduate lang ng college based on reliable statistics, more than 50% na nagagraduate is unemployed. We should also look at yung statistics natin. Kasi for instance, masyadong mataas yung figure ng gobyerno natin on employment rate, no? Kasi yung nagbibenta ng sampagita sa kalye, ang classification non employed. Yung nagbibenta dyan sa mga tiyendisita o dyan sa mga vendors, ang classification non-employed. Kunyari, may isang sari-sari store of one family and nagtutulong-tulungan sila sa sari-sari store. Lima silang employed ng classification. Actually, and yet, it is only one income. So,
are you also aware na based on their barometer, na sinasabi nila, once na naghahanap ng trabaho, at mayroon trabaho na available for that position, kahit na naghahanap pa lang siya, hindi siya sinasama sa unemployed.
Mali nga yun, ano?
Pero kasama yun sa ginagamit. Kasi there was one time na nagtanong ako, bakit magkaiba kayo ng figures? Samantalang eto yung ang naisip ko lang, magkaiba kayo ng barometer.
Correct.
So nangyari, ganun nga pala na pagka naghahanap ka ng trabaho at merong trabaho, halimbawa, may karpintero, may opening ng karpintero, may isang ang hinahanap niyang trabaho, karpintero, kahit na hindi pa siya natatanggap doon, pero naghahanap siya ng trabaho, hindi siya kasama sa unemployed.
Tama.
So parang, kaya mas mataas talaga.
Kaya nga, bakit natin linuloko sarili natin? No? We will not come out with good legislation. We will not come out with good government policies if we do not have accurate statistics. So dapat yung mga census natin, yun na mga nagbibigay ng data sa Pangulo, sa Executive at sa Kongreso, dapat tama yung basis. For instance, ano ba ang poverty level natin? What is the poverty level? Iba-ibang definition ng poverty. Di ba? Kung somebody said, I don't know who said this, but kung nakakakain ka ng 4 na beses isang na loaf, yung pandesal, hindi ka nagugutom, hindi ka poor. Yun yung mga ganyan. Ang ginagawa nila is binababa nila yung poverty level para mas maraming above the poverty line. Hindi ba kagaguhan yun?
Hindi ka ba pikon?
Hindi po.
Hindi. So,
no, I don't get...
sanay kayo parang halimbawa sa mga... Kasi, di ba, nakita nyo sa Senate minsan pag nagkakapikunan din.
nga po.
So, hindi naman kayo kagaya
hindi po, kasi
hindi kayo kapareho naman ni Senator Miriam na pagka nag-aalit, parang, oops. Di ba, parang... kasi, hindi naman... magaling mamikon si Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago. Pero, minsan nakikita mo napipikon. Hindi naman kayo ganon.
Ang belief ko nga unang pikon talo Ang unang pikon talo.
No. With all due respect and with the ika nga ho ay without any intention of being disrespectful, lesbian ba kayo?
Am I a lesbian?
Yes.
No, but I respect lesbian rights.
Okay. Bakit isinusulong ninyo yung same-sex marriage? Is it accurate that you are advocating that?
No. What I have said is this should be subject to further study because the advocates of same-sex marriage are basing it on a Supreme Court decision on a constitutional provision that says no person shall be discriminated on account of sex, on account of gender, race, political beliefs. Yung 14th Amendment na yan sa Supreme Court, kinopya natin sa Philippine Constitution natin. So sinasabi ng lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community na since ganon ang decision ng Supreme Court, 5-4 ang ruling isa lang ang difference. No? At yung constitutional provision sa US, kinopya natin sa Constitution natin, dapat ganon na rin. Dapat i-allow na natin dito sa Pilipinas. No? Ang sagot ko dyan is, there has to be legislation. Because meron tayong family code. No? Kailangan i-amend natin ang family code.
Na nagsasabi doon na ang marriage
is between a man and a woman. Not only that, nakalagay rin doon, it is a permanent union. Ibig sabihin, bawal ang divorce, bawal ang same-sex marriage. We need in terms of public consultation, more people to weigh in. No? Tignan natin ang church. Kasi now more than ever, we have a very activist pope. Very recently, hindi ba sabi niya, kung libre naman ang magpakasal, bakit hindi naman libre ang annulment? So he has made it easier to get a church annulment. 45 days na lang instead of years. At saka pwede nang hindi na two-step process, pwede nang bishop lang ang magbigay ng annulment. If that is the mindset of the Pope, I think our Philippine hierarchy should take stock. We cannot be more popish than the Pope.
Okay, so having said...
Ganon din ang thinking ng Pope in terms of same-sex marriages, no?
No, pero so kung kayo tatayo ngayon, sasabihin ba ninyo na papabor kayo na isulong ninyo yung same-sex marriage? Before you answer that, we'll pause for a break.